Well, hello again, and here we are. It's now July the 22nd. I'm wearing my trusty Zenith Pilot, and it seems like there's going to be an imminent Rolex price rise in the UK. Rumour has it it's going to be in August, maybe even August the 1st. And that's mainly due to the fact that the pound's gone down a lot recently with Brexit and all that sort of stuff. And the general opinion on the various internet sites I go on seems to imply the price rise will be anywhere between 5 and 10%, and maybe even more on some models. And it seems to me that Rolex watches in particular are more of a currency in themselves than a watch, in that they're almost as strong as the Swiss Franc these days. And when the Swiss Franc goes up, then the price of Rolexes go up around the world. And the company goes through a lot of trouble to make sure that wherever you are in the world, the price is the same in no matter what currency. So here's a currency exchange rate graph for last year, from pounds to Swiss francs, or chuffs as they're called, and it's gone from 1.5, it's now down at about 1.3, that's quite a drop. And therefore Rolex will be putting the price up soon in the UK. And I must say, it is tempting right now in the next week or so to pop over to the AD and see if I can pick up a Rolex sports watch before the price goes up. Not so much because I want one particularly, although of course they're all very nice, but because it could end up being quite a good buy. I could flip it perhaps next month and make a few £100s on it, who knows. Now the problem with that is that all the sports watches that I might want to buy from Rolex are all in massive demand, and you probably won't be able to go into the AD and buy one on the spot. And that's not just the current favourite, the Daytona, that's also for the Submariner, the Sea Dweller, the Deep Sea, GMT. The new Explorer 1 I don't think is out yet, but that would be a good buy. And even the Air King, I'm not sure if that's out, and even if it is, it's unlikely to be available there and then. But I might pop over to my local AD soon to see what that situation is, and if I do see something like an Air King in the window, I may just buy it. But what we can also do with this particular graph is go back not 1 year, but 10 years. So let's go back 10 years. Boom. And then we can see that's a hell of a drop. 10 years ago, in 2006-07, the Swiss franc was about 2.5 to a pound, and now it's 1.3 to a pound. And that really does explain why Swiss watches, and the high end in particular, have got so damn expensive. It's not so much that they've got expensive in Switzerland and the Swiss are raking the money, although I'm sure they're doing very well. It's the fact that the Swiss franc is so strong against all the other currencies, and in particular the euro and the pound more recently. And I've been visiting Switzerland regularly for almost 30 years with my job, because my company was based in Basel in Switzerland. And I can remember back in the early 90s, you could get over 3 Swiss francs to a pound. I think it was about 3.4. And even back then, prices in Switzerland seemed damn expensive to me, coming from the UK. So of course the big question is, if I did go out today and find a suitable watch, what would I buy? Well, an Explorer would be nice, but I doubt they'll be available. I've just got a Milgauss, so it won't be one of those. Gold's not on. It'll have to be a steel sports model, I think. I don't particularly like the Date Just 2, so not one of those. I would love to have actually the new 39mm Oyster Perpetuals. I think they're really nice, either in blue or in this rhodium sort of silvery grey. I'm not too keen on the red. A lot of folks mention it's got these little green dots around the edge, and this one's got little blue dots, and that one's got little orange dots. But to be honest, when I tried one on when it first came out, you could hardly see it. They're so small, they're insignificant. I wish actually I'd bought it now, but at the time I was buying something else, and the last few times I've been into the AD, these have all been out of stock and on quite a long waiting list, so I didn't bother. Now I have got my eye on a rose gold Daytona at some point in the future, but that won't be for quite a while yet, so even though I know the price is going to go up, that'll have to wait for perhaps another year or two. Now a non-date sub seems to be hot right now, and I think they are very nice watches. I have got the date version already, so I wouldn't have two, but given the choice I maybe would go for a non-date version. They just have such a clean look, but I doubt I could find one of those in the window of my local AD. I suspect they're all on a long waiting list right now. Or they've got them all in the safe and they're waiting for the price rise to come along next week, and then they'll all be out again. Now this new model 2016 Air King has been quite controversial. A lot of folks don't like it, they hate it, whereas some folks like it, and I must say the more I see it, the more I quite like it. And having seen one in the flesh, as it were, at my local AD when they had a display there. I must say it does look a lot better in real life than it would do in close-up photographs. So that's a watch that maybe, if it was available, I would go out and buy that right now. It's quite cheap as well. It's £4,100. It's basically the same model as my Milgauss. It's got the same case, same kind of anti-magnetic Faraday cage inside of it, same size, same movement, and yet it's what, £1,400 cheaper. And it seems like quite clever marketing by Rolex, because essentially they're giving you a price drop without actually appearing to give a price drop. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Milgauss was discontinued soon. I don't think it's a big seller. I mean, I like it, but I can understand why a lot of folks wouldn't. And at the price it sells for at $5,500, when you compare it to, say, the Explorer 1 at $4,300 or the new Air King at $4,100, it does seem quite overpriced. But of course, Rolex couldn't appear to drop the price of a standard model. So what they've done is they brought out a new model, which is almost the same, but cheaper. So perhaps in the future the Milgauss will be discontinued, who knows. And no doubt, as soon as the Milgauss is discontinued, the price of second-hand ones may go up, as is often the way with Rolex when they discontinue a model. Well, I'm just back from the ADs, had a little chat with the manager there, and not surprisingly they had no Air Kings and they had no Explorer 1s, although he did say that they'd had a few in so far, but they'd all gone to people on the list. And he could put me on the list for this, but it would take a few weeks to get one, and for me that's no good, because of course by then the price would have probably gone up. But overall it was a little bit disappointing. They had no Submariners in stock otherwise, they had no Deep Seas, but surprisingly they did have this in stock, the Sea Dweller 4000, and that doesn't really surprise me, because I do think it's a bit overpriced for what it is. It doesn't really sit comfortably between the Submariner and the Deep Sea. It really should be a 42mm watch as opposed to a 40, which is of course the same size as a Submariner. Submariner is about 5'7", I think, and this is £6,900. That's quite a big jump. And to me, being only 40mm, it does look a little bit fat. It's nowhere near as elegant and as slim as the Submariner. And at the same time, it's not as big and bold as a Deep Sea. It kind of fits uncomfortably between the two. So I'm not surprised you can still find it in the shop window of an AD. The manager at the AD did tell me though that he did have one of these in stock, one of these 39mm Oyster Perpetuals, which was quite a surprise. But unfortunately he didn't have the rhodium that I liked, he didn't have the blue dial that I liked, he only had the plum colour that I didn't like. So what can we conclude from all this? Well, first of all, clearly the Sea Dweller is not that popular compared to a Sub or a Deep Sea. Secondly, the new Air King and the new Explorer 1s aren't really available yet. Therefore, if you want an Explorer 1 or an Air King, then it shouldn't take too long to get one, maybe a few weeks from your local AD. And clearly the stainless steel Submariners are still in demand. My AD had none in, and it would be a few weeks or even a few months, he said, before I could get one. But I do wonder if maybe the group to which his AD belongs has quite a few of them sitting in a safe somewhere, and they'll not be released until the price rise has been announced. Or is that me just being a little bit too cynical? I don't know. So I guess the point is, if you do find a Submariner or a Deep Sea or even an Explorer 1 or one of the new Air Kings out there in an AD and it's for sale, then buy it if you want it, because first of all they're quite tricky to find at the moment, and secondly there is no doubt to me that the price will be going up soon, perhaps in August the 1st, perhaps in mid-August, who knows, but certainly within the next month or two you will get a price rise. So I'll end it there, and thanks for watching, and cheers.